These are chives. And believe it or not, chives are some of the most invasive crops in your garden. There's quite a few different invasive crops that you probably don't think are going to be that bad. They seem totally harmless. That is, until they become invasive. So we're going to talk all about these crops and how to keep them from becoming invasive so you can still enjoy them in your garden without them taking over the world. The first plant that can actually get really invasive in your garden are strawberries. Now, I know strawberries are everybody's favorite fruit to grow in the garden because they are so easy, they're so productive, and honestly, they look really beautiful. But strawberries, if left unchecked, can absolutely take over your garden. We have strawberries popping up all over the place. Now, luckily, their invasiveness is pretty easy to stop because their spreading only occurs when they form runners. After they're done fruiting, shortly after, mid to late July, early August, they'll start to produce a really long strand that will grow from the mother plant. And that will actually produce a small little baby strawberry plant. That essentially allows them to crawl and grow and move and spread through your whole garden. And if left unchecked, they can rapidly take over an entire area, rooting, spreading, and there's oftentimes seasons where the mother plant will produce a runner that will produce another runner that will even produce a third or even a fourth runner, I have found, in really long seasons. And all it takes is that one runner setting down a few little roots, and just like a spider plant, have you ever seen a spider plant, the house plant? They will send down like a runner, and that runner can send down another runner, and you just have this huge trail of runners that grow from the main mother plant. And so by controlling the runners, you can control their spread. I like to keep my strawberries nice and contained. I prefer them staying put where I plant them. And it's great because you can get free plants. But as I've always said, you start a bed with 10 plants. By the end of the year, you've got 30. By the end of next year, you've got 90 or 100 plants. And by year 3 or year 4, you've got so many plants, you're overrun with them. It is really easy to keep them contained in raised beds because the runners will be forced to drape over the edge of the raised bed, and you can simply clip them off. You can root them and give them away, or you can plant them in a place where you actually want them rather than letting them just run rampant. Now, there is a silver lining to this, and that's because strawberries make a really wonderful ground cover. If you're growing a food forest, or you're growing very permaculture, kind of a permaculture inspired garden, strawberries are a wonderful understory crop for that purpose. But you just got to be careful if you don't want them to completely take over, because they definitely can. Next plant is probably in the top 3 most invasive plants in your garden. That's mint. Mint will absolutely take over. It's notorious for taking over simply because everywhere the stems set down on the soil, they will also set down roots. And they can spread and grow faster than you could possibly imagine. In a single season, you can start with a plant like this and end up with a mint plant that's 3 or 4 feet wide. It is absolutely incredible how fast they grow and how fast they spread. And they don't get tall and bushy for very long. Before the weight pulls them down, they touch the ground and they're off to the races. And once they are, those roots set down in any little bit where you have a teeny tiny bit of that mint plant, it'll just keep growing. So by putting it in a container like this right here, this little raised bed container we have, makes it really easy to keep it contained, because obviously, much like the strawberries, when they're in a container, it keeps them elevated off the ground, which can help them it kind of buy you time, where you can see them kind of trailing down the edge of the raised bed, so you can come through and clip them before they have a chance to really touch the ground and take off. We made the mistake of putting them by our window. We had a little windowsill herb garden at our house, and it has been 4 to 5 years of every single year just pulling mint. All I do is pull mint. That's all I do. And what can compound their invasiveness is when they go to seed. So not only are they spreading from just running along the ground, but they're also spreading from seeds as well. So to control that, we clip them back. By clipping them back, it's not only going to encourage them to be bushier, it's going to actually concentrate the flavor. So you're going to get a more robust flavor and smell from clipping them back, but also you're going to prevent them from flowering, which reduces seeds. Mint, like I said, top 3. This one right here, bad reputation, pretty easy to control if you take the right steps. Put it in a container, trim it to keep them from flowering, and you should be good. The next crop is again in the top 3, and that is raspberries. Raspberries are so invasive. They're incredibly invasive, and that's why a lot of times gardeners won't even plant them, because they just have such a bad reputation. But knowing how to control them can turn an otherwise unruly invasive crop into something that you absolutely love and can harvest from year after year. Raspberries, when they're planted in the ground like this, put them in a row, think, oh, that's beautiful, I'm gonna plant them. For the first year, they look great. Get them all trellised up. Second year, think, oh, I'm gonna get tons of fruit. But what you find is you not only get fruit, but you start to get shoots. The fruits you want, the shoots you don't, because then they're coming up into the grass. They're coming up into the aisleways. You're mowing them over. It's like bamboo. You're just mowing them over. At our house, we made the mistake of planting some raspberries next to our garage, and every single year, I have to, for multiple times a year, have to take our mower, drop it down to the lowest level, and just keep mowing them. Otherwise, they keep popping up right in our yard, and they just want to crawl and creep, using the root system to spread. That is really annoying if you don't want that. Now, if you want that, great, absolutely. But simple way to prevent it. 1, you put them in an enclosure. If this was in the ground, what we would want to do is we want to dig a trench, dig a long trench around the whole area, and basically sink in, almost like a raised bed is above ground. We want to sink, whether it be brick, or whether it be landscaping fabric is another wonderful example. Have some type of impenetrable barrier that you essentially sink down in the ground at least 12 to 14 inches deep. That prevents the roots from going underneath the soil and spreading, because they're going to hit that barrier and they're going to be forced up. So that is going to prevent them from crawling and moving. Or you can buy a variety known as a clumping type raspberry. These are raspberries that grow from a central crown, like this one right here. This is known as Jewel. Now, we sell this variety in the early spring. It'll be sold out by the time you see this video, but every spring we carry raspberries. You have a lot of cane fruit that will grow from canes and roots and just keep growing and multiplying, and they can be kind of invasive if you don't control them with the right measures. But this Jewel variety grows from a central crown. It will not creep, it will not grow further than where it is planted. It simply dies back to the crown and regrows, just as if it was rhubarb or asparagus. It doesn't move, which is great, because where you plant it, it's going to stay. And the third way you can keep raspberries contained is by putting them in a container. Raspberries do wonderful in a container. Just put them in like a wine barrel. They need a lot of soil, so like 50, 60 gallons. They'll do wonderfully, and they will survive there for a long time. They won't spread because they're in a container, and they're going to do really well for you. So try in a container, try digging a trench, nice deep trench, putting some impenetrable material in there, and or getting a clumping variety of raspberry, and you should be all set. And that leads us to the most invasive plant in your garden. Believe it or not, in my opinion, chives. Now, it's just my opinion. You might disagree, you might rank others higher. In fact, what I think we should do is, let's have a poll. Rank your top 3 most invasive plants in your garden. Now, they have to be plants you're growing, not like milk thistle or something like that. Not like a weed, but like an actual crop that you're growing. Rank your top 3. For me, it hands down is chives. And the reason why is because all it takes is for you to look away, have them bloom, have the seeds drop, and you will never, and I mean never, see the end of it. The germination rate is incredibly high. The seeds form incredibly fast. And because they're a bulb, they not only divide by the bulb, but they also replicate with the seeds. So this little cluster of chives that we planted here 3 years ago, we have been pulling them up and keeping them contained to this area for the past 3 years. We also constantly have to, every single spring, clip them back multiple times a year because they form flowers. You have to clip them back, or those flowers will form seeds, and those seeds will spread. And if you have a sidewalk, they'll get into the sidewalk cracks. If you have, your grass, your yard, you'll have them popping up in your yard. It doesn't matter. You could have the tiniest thimble of soil anywhere on your property, and those seeds will somehow find their way there. Ask me how I know. My parents' house had a patch of chives that my mom thought, oh, they look so cute. She loved seeing the blossoms. It was always really pretty. And so she would let them go to seed. What a mistake. Every flower bed in her entire garden was littered with chives. Great problem to have, but at a certain point, it's a bad problem because they just take over and they spread and they spread and they spread. And so by cutting back the flowers as they form and being proactive with it, they will flower several times a year. You just got to stay up on it. It's like cutting your grass. You just got to do it. Come in and give them a haircut. I know you're probably thinking, holy cow, Luke, that's a lot of chives. What are you going to be doing with that much chives? Everything. Give you my favorite tip. My favorite thing to do with these chives. We do it twofold. We take the chives, we take the flowers off, we dry them. Dry chive blossoms make such an incredible garnish onto salads or just nice dishes like that. Dried chive blossoms not only taste like chives, but keep their beautiful purple color. You also can take them and infuse them in oil, chive oil, absolutely incredible. Lastly, we'll dry them. We chop them up, dry them, well, second to last. We dry them, we chop them up, we dehydrate them. And what that allows us to do is to use them in the off season on things like baked potatoes. Tastes exactly the same, it's just awesome. But the second to last thing that I absolutely love to do is I dry them in the dehydrator. And then I throw them in the blender with some salt. And I make chive salt. It is, man, it is, wow. If you've never tried chive salt, you have to pause this video, go cut some chives, dehydrate them, blend them with some salt, some coarse sea salt, and then come back to me 18 to 24 hours later saying you made chive salt and tell me if your life has not changed for the better. If it has not, there's either something wrong with you or there's something wrong with you. I'm confident of that. So give that a shot. I guarantee you it will change your life for the better. And that is how you control chives from spreading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you all learned something new. I really do hope that this didn't prevent you from planting any of these plants in your garden. I hope it just encourages you to learn how to grow them and control them so that you can, so you kind of contain the madness. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow bigger. See ya. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting MIgardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care.